Level 1. The Ward. You are 6 years old the day the Schola Progenium takes you, and you do not cry, because the 2 drill abbots who carry your file have already decided that crying is a defect to be corrected. Your parents were Imperial servants, a Militarum clerk and a naval rating, names on a casualty slate somewhere out in the void, and their death did not orphan you so much as promote you. The Imperium does not waste the children of the loyal. It collects them. You are given a number, a gray habit, and a cot in a dormitory of 400 other wards, and above the door someone has carved the only sentence that will matter for the rest of your life. An Imperial subject exists to serve. You cannot read it yet. Within a year you will be able to recite it in 3 languages, and you will believe it in all of them. They do not raise you. They forge you. Your days are prayer, drill, and study, timed to the toll of a cracked bronze bell, and the affection you might once have expected from the world is replaced by something colder and, in its way, more reliable, purpose. You learn scripture before you learn a spell. You learn the anatomy of a lost gun before you learn the anatomy of your own hand. And you learn, very quickly, that the Schola is not a place that produces survivors. It is a place that sorts them. Level 2. The Trials. You are 12 when the selections begin, and the Schola stops pretending to be a school. The washouts go quietly, to the administratum, to the choirs, to the endless clerical machinery that keeps the Imperium breathing. But you are not sent away. You are singled out, which you are made to understand is an honor, and which you will later understand was a sentence. The Tempestus instructors arrive and carapace the color of a storm cloud, and they look at children the way a quartermaster looks at ammunition. What follows is not training as a civilian would understand it. It is subtraction. Sleep is subtracted. Warmth is subtracted. The parts of you that hesitate, that flinch, that ask why, those are found and cut and cauterized. They march you through frozen ranges until the slow ones fall and are not spoken of again. They submerge you in hypno-indoctrination cradles and pour doctrine directly into the meat of your sleeping mind, so that by the time you wake you salute reflexes you were never taught. They break your marksmanship down to the twitch and rebuild it without you. Somewhere in the 3rd year of it, you stop thinking of yourself as a person who is being trained and start thinking of yourself as a weapon that is being sighted. That, precisely, is the point. When they finally hand you the storm gray carapace and the hotshot lost gun, it does not feel like a gift. It feels like the last piece of a machine clicking into place. You are 17. You are a scion of the Militarum Tempestus. You have never once been asked what you wanted. Level 3. The Drop. Your first deployment does not begin on the ground. It begins in the scream of a Valkyrie's engines at 4,000 meters, a red rune blinking over a hatch, and the Tempestor's voice flat in your ear telling you that the objective is a command bunker the regular guard has failed 3 times to take. This is what you are for. The Astra Militarum is a hammer, vast, blunt, and spent by the million. You are a scalpel. You are dropped where the hammer cannot reach, onto the targets that matter, and you are expected to be gone before the enemy understands you were ever there. The grav-chute fires. The world becomes wind and tracer light and estrange. Total calm the indoctrination promised you would come, and does. You hit the rockcrete running. Your hotshot lost gun does not spit the weak red bolts of a conscript's weapon. It punches holes clean through ceramite, through bulkheads, through the officers you were inserted to kill. In 90 seconds the bunker is yours. 4 of your squad are dead. You do not know their first names, because the Schola discouraged first names, and you tell yourself this makes it easier. It does not. But you have learned to keep walking past the place where the grief should be, and that skill, more than the lost gun, is what makes you a scion. The extraction is worse than the assault. The assault has momentum, a rune to chase, a shape to become. The extraction has only waiting, crouched in the wreck of the bunker you took, listening to the enemy realize what has happened to them, counting the minutes until the Valkyrie returns through fire that was not there on the way in. You haul a wounded brother aboard by the strap of his carapace and hold pressure on a wound that has already stopped maturing. And when the Medicae shakes his head, you let go, because there is another brother who is still bleeding and still worth the drug. On the flight back, no one speaks. The Schola never taught you songs. It only taught you silence, and silence, you are beginning to understand, is the true anthem of the Militarum Tempestus. Level 4, the Veteran. You are not supposed to live this long. The doctrine is honest about it. A scion is a high-value asset spent on high-value objectives, and the arithmetic does not assume return trips. And yet here you are, 3 years and a dozen war zones later, still breathing, and something has changed. The calm is no longer something they installed in you. It is simply who you are now. You read a battlefield the way you once read scripture, fluent and without effort. You know which silence means an ambush and which means the enemy has already fled. You have started, without being ordered to keep the newer signs alive, pulling them down a half-second before the shot, correcting a grav-chute strap they were too proud to check. They have begun to watch you for it. In the Militarum Tempestus, competence is not rewarded with rest. It is rewarded with more. Your kill tallies are logged, your after-action doctrine is studied, and a Tempestor whose face you cannot see behind a rebreather tells you that you have been marked for command. You do not feel pride. You feel the machine clicking again, one tooth further along the gear, carrying you toward a place you did not choose and cannot refuse. Level 5, the Specialist. Before they will let you lead, they make you master. You are pulled from the line and rebuilt a second time. Not broken this time, but sharpened into something specific. Perhaps they make you a plasma specialist, and you learn to carry a weapon that can vaporize a tank or your own arm with equal indifference, and you learn to love the terror of it. Perhaps they make you the squad's Vox and Auspex, the one who whispers with orbital command and calls the fire that erases a city block. Perhaps they make you the Medicae, and you learn the particular horror of choosing which of your brothers is worth the last dose of the drug that will keep him fighting. Whatever they carve you into, the lesson beneath it is the same. You are no longer only a trigger. You are a node in something vast, a single deliberate nerve in the body of the imperial war machine, and the decisions that used to be made for you now pass, briefly, terribly, through your hands. It is the first time the Imperium has trusted you with a choice. You will spend the rest of your life discovering how heavy a thing that is. And it is heavy in a way the training could not inoculate you against, because a choice is the one thing that cannot be indoctrinated. It can only be made, and then carried. You make them well. The fire you call lands where it should. The arm you do not amputate is the one that pulls a trigger a week later and saves the squad. But every decision leaves a residue, and you notice that the specialists who survive longest are not the coldest ones. They are the ones who have found some private place to set the weight down between deployments. A ritual, a prayer, a scar they touch when they think no one is watching. You find yours. You will not say what it is. In the Militarum Tempestus, the things that keep you human are the only things you are permitted to keep secret. Level 6, the Tempestor. They give you a squad, and they give you their lives, and they do not give you the luxury of pretending those two gifts are separate. You are a Tempestor now. 10 Scions answer to your voice, and every order you speak is a small equation with a body on the other side of it. Take the bridge, someone dies. Hold the line, someone dies. Fall back to preserve the asset. And you learn that the hardest order in the Imperium is the one that trades a soldier you know for a mission you were not told the purpose of. You are good at it. That is the quiet tragedy of it. You are genuinely, terribly good. You bring more of them home than the arithmetic says you should, and the ones you lose for reasons you can defend to yourself at 3 in the morning, which is the only court that will ever hear the case. The regular guard officers resent you. You arrive on their worlds without warning, ignore their chain of command, complete the impossible task, and vanish, leaving them to hold the ruin you made. You have stopped caring what they think. You care about 10 faces and the shrinking list of names you now, at last, allow yourself to know. Level 7, the Prime. A Tempestor Prime does not lead a squad. He commands companies, and he answers to the Inquisition as often as to the Militarum, which means the missions stop being written down. You are trusted now with the objectives the Imperium will not admit it pursued. The loyal general who knew too much, the shrine world whose faith had curdled into heresy, the vault that had to be emptied and then made never to have existed. You lead hundreds of the finest killers humanity can manufacture, and you have become the scalpel's hand as well as its edge. And in the rare, exhausted hours between deployments, a thought you were indoctrinated never to have surfaces anyway, the way rust surfaces through paint. You have spent 40 years being aimed. You have never once seen the arm that aims you. You obey the Inquisition, and the Inquisition obeys something. And somewhere at the top of that chain is a corpse on a golden throne who has not spoken a clear word in 10,000 years. You do not say this aloud. There is no one alive you trust with it, because everyone you might have trusted, you have already spent. There is a particular loneliness to the top of a chain whose end you cannot see. The younger Scions look at you the way you once looked at the Stormgrey instructors, as a fixed point, a proof that the arithmetic can be beaten, that a person can go into the grinder enough times and come out still standing, still speaking, still theirs. You let them believe it, because the belief keeps them alive an extra second, and an extra second is the only currency you have ever been able to spend on them. You do not tell them what you have learned, that surviving is not the same as winning, that the Imperium does not have winners, only assets it has not yet finished using. You are its finest asset. You have begun, in the gray hours, to wonder what that makes the thing you serve. Level 8, the Last Order. It comes the way you always knew it would, not as a battle, but as a briefing, in a gray room, from a face you are not permitted to remember. The objective is one you understand at once will not have a return trip written into it. The Schola taught you the arithmetic when you were 12, and the arithmetic has finally, patiently, come back for you. You could refuse. In 50 years no one has ever told you that you could, but you know, in the cold, clean place where the fear used to be, that you could. And you know that you will not. So you check your carapace, storm gray and scarred, the same color as the men who cut the child out of you a lifetime ago. You check the hotshot lost gun that has been more loyal than any person the Imperium allowed you to keep. You board the dropship, and you feel the comm arrive one final time. Not installed, not indoctrinated, simply yours. And you understand at last that it was never courage. It was the absence of any other exit. The red rune blinks over the hatch. Somewhere above you, unseen, the arm draws back. And you, the scalpel, the ward, the weapon they cited and named and spent, step out into the wind to serve the Imperium the only way it ever taught you how. For the Emperor, whoever, whatever he has become,